You rarely see him unless there's been a death. Some say that if you say his name...
He's really got that, hey, there's nothing in there anymore. Have you ever wondered what happens to Joseph's bones during the Exodus? Probably not, but we're going to talk about that a little bit in this episode. I'm Ed, this is Groot, who gives a hoot about human rights, and we're reviewing episode 5 of the Promised Land series called Bones. Don't get too freaked out. Ugh. Just a reminder, we only have one episode left of the show. Now, usually I make educational type videos that make people laugh. So if you have any questions about the Bible, or maybe even how it relates to our culture now, or suggestions of Christian media that you want me to review and talk about from a biblical perspective, leave a comment down below, because you're going to help out the channel. You're going to get more fun stuff, and it's all free. You're not even paying a cent for this. Let's watch this. Let's watch the show. Let's watch the show.
You must not boil a young goat in its mother's milk. That's the law. Do not cook a sin, Hezekiah.
Do not cook a sin, Hezekiah. I'm going to start using that. Judaizer alert, because people call me a Judaizer. I don't eat goats boiled in their mother's milk, because that's God says not to, and there's obviously a reason. So don't cook a sin, Hezekiah. That's funny. I'm gonna use that forever.
My to-do list, if you're sure you don't mind.
Of course.
You'll notice that collecting and melting all the people's gold into a calf and leading them into paganism is not on there. So,
Good one, brother.
I like how awkward it still is. We're going to get a resolution. I just know it. I'm just hoping. But you see, there's still some animosity here.
I know that Moses is just teasing me every day without stopping.
It just shows the different upbringings, how people react to teasing and poking fun. Where I try and raise my kids, I don't want them to tease each other and make fun of each other. Obviously, that'll happen a little bit. But I don't want them to have a comfortability with putting people down. And so I try and stop it with them. You have to be aware of when you're teasing someone about the sensitivities that they might have.
They will see that we are women and they'll kick us out. I think I have the solution.
Oh my gosh. I'm getting ready for some Disney Channel hijinks here. I'm here for it. Whatever. It's going to be fun.
Most of the items on the to-do list are fairly standard, but there is one item that stood out for me. Check on Joseph's bones. What?
I'm curious if this is why the episode is called Bones, because of Joseph's bones. There's a lot of interesting things here. My mind just started racing once we started seeing a dog carry the femur by, because I'm like, I don't know if he was with a bag of bones necessarily. I think the Bible describes him as embalmed and put in a coffin. And so likely this coffin was carried from Egypt to Israel and was carried for 40 years in the wilderness. Not only that, but I like this idea that in Hebrews 11, it talks about this last verse in Hebrews 11. It says that by faith, Joseph, believing that God would come back for his people, gave instructions concerning bringing his bones back to Israel. That's a paraphrase there, so don't take it word for word. And we see that in Genesis 50. God will surely visit you, and you shall carry my bones up from here, something along those lines. And so Moses does carry the bones. They carry them to Shechem, right? And so I kind of wonder, why Shechem? Why did they end up burying Joseph in Shechem? And it's interesting. God first promised the land of Israel to Abraham in Shechem. And then Jacob, later on, he buried his foreign gods as idols under this oak tree in Shechem. And then Joshua, when they get back to the land, 400 years later, they renew the covenant in Shechem. I think that's really cool. So it's a lot of covenant promises are made in this place. In fact, Jacob purchased this field at Shechem from the sons of Hamor. And then using some clever wordplay, I guess, Jacob promises this land to Joseph, his son, in Genesis 48. He says, I give you one portion, and that portion, that word there is Shechem, more than your brothers, which I took from the hand of the Amorites. Does this tie into the episode? Is the whole episode going to be about Joseph's bones? I don't know, but I think it's interesting that they kind of play on our thoughts of when I hear they carried his bones, I think of like a sack of dusty bones over someone's shoulder, when it's really probably a sarcophagus almost, like a big old coffin, because he was buried at a time where he was the man. He was number 2 in all of Egypt. And so he would have had a very royal, regal, important burial. And so they're not carrying just a bag of bones. They're carrying a coffin.
Nobody knows where Seth came from. You rarely see him unless there's been a death. Don't say that if you say his name.
Oh, he's really got that, hey, there's nothing in there anymore. Israel treats their dead with such respect in scripture. They, literally carrying the bones all the way throughout. That, holy cow. I wasn't expecting that, though. That was funny. You got to think, though, Seth must have been real stinking busy after all the deaths from the golden calf incident. Uh, maybe he's a little desensitized to it.
The man does not cover the pit. That is all I remember.
I think women are actually pretty smart. Psych. That would be terrifying.
I'm kind of curious if this is going to lead up to like Deuteronomy 22:5, where it talks about a man shall not wear a woman's clothes and a woman shall not wear a man's clothes because it's an abomination to him. I'm interested to see where this is going to go. It's funny seeing them wear beards and trying to act like men and I'll take up more space. Women are stupid. That's not me talking. I think women are very smart.
Uh-oh, guess what? It's time for a pop quiz.
Pop quiz, I know it. Yeah.
First question. How many years must we wait before eating the fruit of a tree?
When the teacher tries to make something awful fun. Great pause.
True or false? You can yoke two different animals together as long as they are the same size.
False. They must be the same species.
True or false? My eyes are green.
False. They're a radiant brown.
Hey, Aaron.
I like this law school setup because you think these laws, we have them written in a Bible that we have easy access to. I can open up my Bible. I can open it up on my phone. These guys didn't have that. They didn't have Bibles. They were literally learning from the words of Moses. And so you got to think they might have had to have classes like this. So that way the top of the tribes can start passing it down. It's really interesting speculating and thinking about how all this information got passed down to everyone. Because it's nothing like today. Also, I'm hoping if I were ever at a men's conference, at a teaching thing, I hope I would be able to recognize my wife in a fake beard. I think I would, but there's never a 0% chance that I will mistake her and not recognize her.
Are Joseph's bones in a box, or are they just loose out here?
Hopefully in a box. But if you see any loose ones, you let me know.
They're talking about what I was talking about. I like that they're kind of goofing on it because they're not goofing on Joseph's bones, but they're goofing on our perception of how they would have transported Joseph's bones. My prediction is they're going to end up, Moses is going to know where they were all along. That's my prediction. That's my guess for this episode. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But I think they're goofing on our perception of how these bones would have been carried.
Moses and I, we're not spending a lot of time together lately.
Because of the calf.
What calf?
The one that you built and you told the people to worship?
Oh, that calf. Yeah, I guess without Moses' constant reminders, I must have forgotten all about it.
Perhaps he is only teasing you, like how Caleb teases me.
And do you like how Caleb teases you?
No. It makes my cheeks burn, and then I want to ball up my fists like this and say, hey, are you hungry? Why don't you eat this? And then I pop him.
That's pretty much how I feel.
I like that. That's really sweet. How different people do with different types of teasing. You got to realize who you're talking to when you're talking to them, if they appreciate being talked to like that, and be willing to be open with how it makes you feel. It's cute. I like it.
Okay, I know it's getting late, so I'll finish with this. Should be an easy one. A woman is not to wear male clothing, and a man is not to put on a woman's garment. For everyone who does these things is detestable to the Lord.
I was waiting for it. I like it. That's a good one.
I don't think we'll have a problem with that one, huh? Unless you're hiding something, Cora.
Who, me? I'm joking. I'm not a woman.
I think Miriam wins the most gifable award. Just about every reaction. I think of her like spitting out the wine or with the fake beard here, doing one of these. I think it's pretty good. I think you could make a lot of gifts out of her. I'm also interested because a lot of people, they're just doing the things that are sin and they don't even know it's sin yet. And so what's their reaction? What's the response? They go, I just found out this is a sin and I have two choices. Do I stay in this sin or do I be obedient? Even if it's not easy, even if it's not comfortable. And so you see Zipporah, she runs off. She goes, I can't do this anymore. But Miriam, she's sticking around. She's like, well, we got to see this through. And so if you're finding yourself in sin doing something that you think is good, you have to ask yourself, is this good thing worth the sin it takes to get there? It's for you to decide. I'd say no. I'd say you don't do evil so that good may come. That's why I have Groot who gives a hoot about abortion over here, because he doesn't think that you should do evil that good may come. But I've got another video on the channel about that. I'll put it up in the corner somewhere here. It also makes me think back because a couple weeks ago I taught on Proverbs 9 and how the wise, they love the person who corrects them, but the scoffer, they wish ill on the person who corrects them. They want their detriment. And you can't think in terms of who am I correcting, but I almost think of it in terms of how do I take correction? And so if Zipporah hears, if you do this, it's sin, and she goes, oh, well, I can't be doing this. It's unwise to do this. But then Miriam goes, well, I'll stay to my own devices. Maybe I can figure out a way around this. Well, she's being a scoffer in that moment and unwise, whereas Zipporah was trying to be wise, it seems like here. Something to think about. And it makes me think about, again, as I've been examining myself, how do I take correction? Like a wise person or like a scoffer? Let's keep watching.
Hello. Hello.
I got a silly little story at my cousin's bachelor party. His name is Mr. Nomad Ben. He's on YouTube. He does travel vlogs throughout the South. We were on a dock that had a fire pit on the end of it. And I had taken a fistful of like pebbles and I had just been kind of tossing them in throughout the night and saying, oh, do you guys hear that fish? I don't know what caused me to do this. Well, he goes up to the bathroom and I tell all the other guys that are there, guys, I've been tossing pebbles in there and he thinks they're fish. Can someone tell a scary story that'll make him think that there's something in this pond? And so when he comes back, someone starts telling a story about, yeah, I saw a post on Reddit about in the South, in this area, there's Civil War soldiers that have been drowned in these ponds. And some people have like been startled because like a hand or something will reach out of the water to them. And I start throwing my rocks again, you know, bloop, bloop. And my cousin, he's looking around. He's nervous. He's he's terrified. And eventually, because other guys started grabbing rocks and started doing it, and so it's becoming bloop, 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 bloop. It's more and more crazy. And so we're running from side to side of this dock trying to see like where is it? Where is it? And I get this bright idea. I'm gonna kick a log into the water because that'll make a big splash and that'll freak him out. And I kick a log in there and I don't even think it's floating. The log floats. And my cousin, he sees this and I think we're done. He's gonna know we're doing this. And he screams, they're taking our firewood. And so he runs back off the dock up to the house and we all run with him and we're cracking up. I didn't tell him until I gave the speech at his wedding. And I said, he's the most trusting guy. He believed that Civil War soldiers were coming back from the dead to steal our firewood. So that what Caleb did just reminded me of a good memory that I had with my cousins.
If two men are fighting and the wife of one of them comes to rescue her husband from his assailant, and she reaches out and seizes him by his genitals, you must cut off her hand.
Without Zipporah here, I'm feeling a little bit out of place.
A woman would spend some time searching to seize Nimrod's genitals.
Okay, please, can we just move on?
I wonder how they would have interacted with some of these laws and how in teaching situations they went. You know, you're getting these new laws and some of them are interesting. They're fun. Maybe they had more cultural relevance back then. You don't see a lot of men breaking out in fights and a woman trying to protect her man by grabbing the other man's jewels. But like you have a little bit of inappropriate humor, but how inappropriate is it? It's playing on something that's clearly God has said it's important to him. If it's worth losing a hand over, it's important. And so you think about humor and what's appropriate. And does this toe a line? I don't know. Should it? I don't know. It made me laugh. That's it. That's all I'm saying. And nothing more.
Here is some fresh bread to nourish you while you sin.
Thank you. Hey,
I'm just teasing somewhat.
Do not harbor hatred against your brother. Rebuke your neighbor directly, and you will not incur guilt because of him.
So here's a fun fact for you today. Where he's quoting from is in Leviticus 19. And a lot of people say, well, Leviticus, that's just for the Levites. Well, that's just patently false. I think less than 50% of the book of Leviticus deals only with the Levites. And more than 50% is just for all of Israel. It's called Leviticus because it contains the most laws for the Levites. Not that it is mostly laws for Levites, but that is most of the laws for the Levites. And so we have this beautiful section in Leviticus talking about harboring hatred towards your neighbor, how it's an awful thing. You shouldn't do that. There's a lot of other great things in there. And as you can see, if this pricks your heart, if you've been slandering, if you hate your neighbor, if you're harboring ill will against them, you realize, oh wait, this does apply to me. Because Leviticus isn't done away with. There's a lot of really good, really beautiful, important things in there that apply to you today. And I know as Moses is reading this, I'm hoping like maybe this pricks his heart. Maybe it causes him to be like, I should bury the hatchet with Aaron. Because I know when I read scripture and when I'm preparing for a sermon, it's not always about what does my congregation, what does the people that I'm teaching need to hear. Sometimes, fairly often, it's about, oh, what areas do I need to honor God more in? How can I live a life more pleasing to God? And so maybe that's what's going to happen with Moses here. I hope so.
Be careful, you don't want to disturb Joseph.
What?
That box. Your ancestor Joseph is inside.
Joseph, he's here.
Yes, Moses likes to keep him there. He likes to check on him from time to time. So sometimes when I am here alone, I like to pretend he can hear me. Hello, ancestor!
I'm glad that they portrayed him in a box. I don't know if it would have been that box or more regal Egyptian sarcophagus sort of thing, a big, nice coffin. But that's cool. Sometimes I just can keep my mouth shut and it's fine.
If I were committing a sin and I didn't know, would you tell me?
Yes, of course.
And if I noticed you were doing something wrong, would you want me to point that out to you?
I like where this is going. I love it. I love it. And I love that husbands and wives should be a safe place for each other to do this. All right. That was episode 5 of The Promised Land called Bones. We're going to be ranking this one out of 206 bones because that's how many are in the human body. But let's talk about the episode first. I like that this episode didn't actually cover any huge events in scripture. That's crazy for me to say. The only thing that they hit on that was technically happening out there was that they had too many donations for the tabernacle and they told the people that they had enough and stopped. The other things that were biblical were that they did have Joseph's bones. They never lost them. By the end of the episode, you know that it's just Moses kind of goofing around with Aaron. But instead of dealing with a biblical event, they actually deal with a lot of the laws themselves. You had Korah saying, hey, don't cook a sin, Hezekiah. You have the law about men and women not cross-dressing, essentially. You actually heard Moses read a lot of laws and they would joke around them, but they were actually reading very important things there that, again, they matter to God. And because they matter to God, they should matter to us. So I think that's a really cool thing for an episode. And then you get to this heart of it. You have a lot of comedy. In fact, I think this was the funniest episode that they've made yet. Partially because I wasn't anticipating a big biblical event. I was just kind of lost in the story that they're telling now and how they're trying to reconcile these two brothers. But there was a lot more laughs per this episode. This one's actually going up there. I think this is one of my favorite episodes so far. You had some good laughs around Joshua and Aaron, around Moses at the law school, with Miriam and Zipporah, and their hijinks. And even with and then with Chisisi, just obviously huge comic relief in this whole time. You almost got like a sad note with him where he's longing for home. And I like with him that it says that, they view me as one of them, which is kind of what I'm hoping for with that character. But then you had the emotional weight where it kind of made me go, oh, like that's, oh, with Moses and Aaron, where Aaron was trying to say something and then he realized he had been God again. And then Moses was going to start saying something, but he kind of had a little too much pride in him to say something about it until Zipporah kind of calls him out on it and says, hey, I think that you actually are acting like you hate your brother. They've been dragging this tension out for 2 episodes, which any other show would have done it for 2 seasons. Let's be real. But the nice thing about people who love the Lord and Christian community is that in theory, we can resolve things quickly. So hopefully this doesn't drag out 2 seasons, but it's resolved in the next episode in this finale that's coming up, because that's how the people of God should do things. We should be able to talk about things that hurt us, talk about things that are sin, right? You got to just have a distinction with, am I just annoyed or are they sinning against me? But we can talk those things out and then we can resolve them like we love each other, because as Christians, we should love each other. So in this episode, I think we laughed a lot more than we have in any other episode. I think that we had some good drama and some emotional weight towards the end there. We got a little bit of a history lesson with Joseph's bones. So I think if we're going to rank this on a scale of 1 to 206 of Joseph's human bones, I'm going to give it 190 human bones. That's pretty incredible. I think this is the highest I've ranked any of them, depending on how we decide the percentages work out. I don't know. But this is my favorite episode so far. I think besides the golden calf one, I think that one was really strong too. It's kind of like comparing apples to oranges though, because you have one that's portraying a big biblical event. So I already had I had stake in it, where this one, it was more so surrounding life back then and how these laws would have played out for these people who were new to them. And so it's a little different, but I think they're both great in their own way. And I think this is one of the strongest episodes yet. I'm very excited for episode 6, the finale. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Please rank this episode out of 206 in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought. Please give me ideas on things that you want me to watch next or questions that you want me to answer, because mostly this is an educational channel. We've just been taking a detour and reviewing the show because I thought it was so good and so fun. And if you've made it this far in the video without liking and subscribing, what are you doing? Just like it and subscribe. You're already here. You know you like it. You've been here for like 20-something minutes. It helps me know that what we're doing is working, because we want to start building out and doing lots of educational content that equips Christians to answer the questions of the world and how to interact with our culture in a way that pleases our King. Speaking of, don't forget to download the free ebook, Jesus and the Biblical Feasts. It'll help you learn about these feasts that Israel is going to be celebrating in the show at some point. YouTube thinks you're going to like this episode here, and here's a playlist of other Promised Land episodes that I've recorded reviews for. And as always, to God all praise and glory. Thanks for watching.